Last month, we told you about a Denton County man who committed to eating only dog food.
Could you eat dog food for 30 days?
He decided as a challenge to only eat his company's product, dog food, for 30 days.
Yeah, nothing but his dog food.
He's had no sauces, no seasonings.
Is this Munster Milling Company? Is that right?
You're eating the actual dog food that you make to prove a point.
His goal was to prove that the food is healthy.
Texas man ate only dog food for a month, says I feel pretty fantastic.
You know, that's what I do every morning. I get up and I barbecue my dog
This is the
food.
craziest thing I've ever heard.
What's wrong with you? Mitch since lost 20 pounds.
He says it's made him
How do you do
healthy.
this for 30 days?
Hi, I'm Mitch Felderhoff, one of the owners of Munster Milling Company, and I'm eating dog food for 30 days.
All right guys, so today we are going to be talking all things collars. I've got flat collars, e-collars, prong collars, bungee collars, you name it. We are going to get right down into the nitty-gritty of all of the different collars that I use, why I use different collars for different things, and then I'm actually going to walk you guys through just a brief tutorial of how to set up your e-collar, because that's actually something I get asked all the time. What e-collar do you use? How do you set it up? What are the functions? Why do you like it? So that's what I'm gonna get into. What I will not be getting into in this video is e-collar training. I am not a professional trainer. I stay in my lane. I am not going to be discussing any type of technique or e-collar training at all. So if that's what you're looking for, just scroll right on. I'm not gonna be doing that, but I am going to show you all about the e-collar that I like, that I use, and all of its different features and functions. So if you are interested in that, stay tuned. I'm gonna address the flat collar first. I prefer these collars here from tactipup.com. No, I'm not affiliated with them. I have no coupon code, although I wish I did. However, I am a huge fan of Tactipup collars. This is such a high quality, fantastic collar that it is something that I know is a one-time purchase. This collar is going to last my dog his entire life. I like them for several reasons. Obviously, the quality is amazing. This is all very high quality reinforced stitching, all metal buckles. You have the Cobra buckle here, Cobra buckle system, which I really like a lot. And then I also went ahead and got the option for the handle to have. And this is actually a feature that I didn't realize I would enjoy as much as I do, or even that I would use as much as I do. So having this collar, having a way to grab my dog's collar like this has just been one of my favorite features. And obviously the embroidery directly onto the collar rather than a Velcro patch just makes more sense. So I'm really happy with these collars. Again, you can get them on tactipup.com. I will go ahead and put the link down here in the description. Next, we are going to talk prong collars. So I know that not everybody agrees with this tool. I know that it's not even allowed in all countries, but me personally, I'm a big fan of the prong collar. I think this is a fantastic tool. When it's used correctly, I know that this does not harm the dog. However, not all prong collars are created equal. So if you are going to purchase a prong collar, I highly recommend the Herm Springer prong collar. They do come in different designs, different colors, different sizes, all of that. So you'll have to decide what makes sense for you. But I am a big fan of this one, particularly because it has a buckle. And this just makes sense for me. This is way easier to deal with. You know, my dog is grown, so his neck size isn't gonna be changing. He's not a puppy. So I can just fit this one time, get the links correct, and then I just have a buckle for the on and off, which is amazing. This Hermspringer is for Storm. This is a puppy sized for her. It's the smaller prongs, and this one does not have the buckle. It is a quick release, but I use it like this because I'm not a big fan of the quick release. So this is the puppy prong. This also comes from Hermspringer. And again, I use this smaller size here for Storm. And this is great. I'm having to add links here slowly as she's continuing to grow. And then eventually she will move on, obviously, to the larger size. But for right now, this little prong is working wonderfully for her as a puppy. And it has helped tremendously, teaching her how to walk on a leash, change direction, helping give slight corrections when I'm asking for a sit or a down or anything like that. This is an amazing tool. And so again, Hermspringer collars. You can get these online, and I will put the link down in the description. Now we're gonna talk e-collars. There are many e-collars available on the market, but the e-collar that I have chosen to go with is the ET300, the Mini Educator. I went with this collar mostly because this is what I was trained to use by my professional trainer, because this is the system that she used. This is what I was trained on, so it just made sense for me to continue to use this collar. So the ET300 I actually purchased on Amazon, so I'll go ahead and put that link down there below. But I did want to go ahead and just take the opportunity to show you guys how to set up this collar, what the different functions and settings are. But I am not going to show you guys how to train with an e-collar because that is just out of my depth. And so we're not gonna do any of that. But I can help you guys decide whether this is a good match for you based on what kind of training you want to do, what goals you have for your dog, and if the settings and functions that go along with the ET300 are something that would be beneficial to you and your style. So to turn the receiver on, you hold this button down. By holding this button in, it turns the screen blue on the other side, which means that you have successfully turned on your remote. To pair your remote to your collar is also a very simple process. As you'll see, there's a little red dot right here, and there's also a little red dot right here on the collar. All you have to do is line these up. So it's red, it didn't pair. Line those up there until you get a green light. That's it. That means that you've successfully paired your remote to your collar. When the device first comes on, you're going to see that it is set at a 0. You're gonna see 1D up here, which means one dog, and then you're gonna see MC over here. This means that once your remote is turned to a 0 on the dial, you can see how you can change it. If it's at a 0, that means that it is in programming mode. So your collar actually comes with this little plastic device that you can slip right there onto the prongs, and that will actually test your device. If this lights up, then you know that it is working. So let's go ahead and test our device. You can just turn this up to any number at all, and we're going to hit the stem button. And again, you'll see it light up. That means it's working. There's gonna be 3 buttons that help you function. This is the tone or vibrate button. And on the other side are your stem buttons. Now I'm gonna show you guys how I have the settings set up for my dogs. When you first get your remote, the default setting actually for the tone button is actually set to vibrate. So if you were to hit the tone button right now, it would make your receiver vibrate, okay? If you would like to change that to making an audible tone, then here's how you do that. So you're gonna hold the on and off button. You're gonna press it first, you're gonna hold it down, and then you're going to also press the tone button. So it looks like this. Hold that down, press the tone button, it makes a beep. As soon as it makes a beep, that means that you've successfully set this from vibrate to tone. Okay? If you want to turn it back to vibrate, which is actually the setting that I keep it on because that's the setting I prefer, again, hold the on-off button down, press the T button again, and you have successfully changed it back to vibrate mode. The dial up here at the top is how you control the strength of the stem. Now this can actually go all the way up to 100, but it also has a great function where if you want to set it at a specific setting and then lock it at that setting, you simply tap it down to lock that setting. So here's a couple of the ways that I set up my settings. So first of all, the MC here is actually controlled by the corresponding MC button on the back of the remote. Basically, that means that the top stem button here, let me push it and show you guys. See the light? That's a very, very quick stem correction. It's something like 1/20th of a second, so it's very, very quick. I think that a lot of people feel like their dogs don't necessarily respond well to that quick of a correction or that quick of a stem. And so a lot of people actually will use the red button, which is constant. Okay, that looks like this, right? And instead of just holding that down, which I actually don't do, I will spam that button. Okay, that's what that looks like. It's just a little bit longer here. Also, the other way that I will sometimes use this is by changing the setting. I come down here and I hold the MC button down. Okay, and that will change right there. Okay, so now what that has done has changed what these buttons do. So this top button remains the same, okay? See, top button remains the same. But what has changed is that the red button here now jumps the correction up by 5 points. See? So when I hit that, it jumps the correction up by 5. So those are the two settings that I use most commonly with my dogs, depending on what we're doing. That is the basics of setting up your remote and your collar. One other awesome function that I take advantage of all the time is the fact that this e-collar has a bright light built into it. So on the back where it says on, off, and light, that's because this button controls both of those features. So if you just tap the button rather than hold it down like you do to turn it on, one tap will cause the light to blink. If you tap it again, that will cause the solid light to come on. And that's actually how I use it with my dogs when we go outside at night. It's awesome. It makes it so that I can see my dogs where they are out in the field at nighttime, and we really, really like that feature a lot. To turn it off, one more time. That's it. So keep in mind then once you want to turn your remote off, again, you're just going to hold the button down and that will turn it off. Some of the other things that come with your e-collar right out of the box, of course, are going to be this little tool here. This is just like a little screwdriver essentially that you place over the top of these stem prongs, and then you can just basically turn these just like a screwdriver and they will pop off and you can change the length of those. It also comes with the lanyard here, and that is basically just, you clip this right here to your remote and it comes on a big necklace. Nothing too fancy. And then of course it comes with your charger. The charger does have dual outlets here so that you can charge your remote and your collar at the same time, which is nice. And I'd say it takes about 3 hours to get a full charge. So obviously these tools need to fit appropriately or they won't be successful. So I'm going to show you guys how each one of these collars should appropriately fit your dog. Let's start with the prong collar. Right here is going to be our lovely assistant. So basically your prong collar should be sitting up nice and high on the neck like you see right here, with enough slack to be able to also cause that slight correction here. So as you can see, there's just enough slack. He's like, why are you correcting me? To offer a slight correction, but still sitting up very nice and high and tight on the neck. This is our Tactipup flat collar. Riot actually wears this most of the time, and that fits onto him just like this. Now I like to keep it just low enough that I still have room at the top of his neck for either the prong collar or the e-collar, depending on what we're using. So this is where I like to have his fit, right about mid-neck. That means that when I do want to add another collar for training, such as the e-collar in this example, I can put this right here on the top, and that sits clearly above his flat collar. Now, it's important to keep in mind that your e-collar here, where you're actually receiving the stem, should be off to the side. You do not want to have this directly under your dog's throat. That is not where you want him to receive a correction. It's also not very comfortable. So make sure that it's off to the side like this. You can also shift it around to change sides. Because from time to time, if your dog is wearing this often or is scratching and irritated by this, you can get little sores here on the neck. So you do want to make sure that you're switching sides. It's not always on the right or always on the left, but do get in the habit of making sure that you have this switching from side to side every so often. All right, guys, so that's it. There you have it. That was my simple little tutorial on the settings that I use for my dogs when it comes to the Mini Educator collar. Again, I will say I took hours and hours of classes to learn how to use my e-collar. I worked with a professional trainer for many, many weeks, learning the ins and outs and how to use this and when to use it and the timing of using it. This is all very, very important. This is not a tool that I recommend for beginners, and it's certainly not a tool that I recommend putting on your dog unless you have taken these classes and understand how to use this tool appropriately. So make sure if this is something that you want to work with your dog with, you connect with a professional trainer. Do not try to use this tool on your own. Yes, you're just a sweet boy. Yes, you are. You're just my sweet boy. Yes, you are. Oh, ew, ew. You got my glasses. Look, he's looking at himself in the mirror. Ew, Riot. Ew. Ew, that's enough. Don't. Just give me sweet boy hugs. Just give me hugs. I have to wash my glasses. Ugh. Okay. That's good. Cut. Cut the